What's up, gang? This is Mike with my Real Estate Dojo, and today's lesson is why I bought an electrical car. Okay, now I've owned many different kind of cars. The kind of car I'm driving right now is a $100,000 Mercedes-Benz SL 550, my dream car. It's a V8. It's a super fast car. Okay, I've had many different kind of cars. I had lift cars. I had Nissan Titan with a 6-inch lift on it. I've owned another Nissan Titan with 22s on it. I've owned Jeeps with 4-inch lift, 35 swampers on it. I've owned Jeeps with, with a 2-inch lift. I've owned many different kind of vehicles, guys, trucks, uh, so on. And throughout the years, owning anything from entry level to trucks to SUVs and sports car, I'm here to tell you that my electrical car beats all these cars. Okay, now it may not beat it in sense of luxury. Okay, versus like an $100,000 car, but hands down it beats it in every other thing, including comfort. Okay, now what car did I buy? Now I studied electrical cars since 2011 when they first came in, and I had an opportunity to buy a Tesla by just taking over the payments because someone was motivated, and I chose not to. It was a brand new car. It had less than 4 or 5 thousand miles on it. Okay, the guy bought it. He was getting job transferred out of the country, and he had to sell it, and I offered him an owner financing where I just take over his payment, and was very willing to because his other option was to throw in $25,000 cash out of his pocket to trade it in to a dealership that was going to buy it. Okay, so but the car that I bought is a Nissan Leaf. It's a 2015 Nissan Leaf. I got a smoking deal on it. I paid cash for it, but that's not what I'm talking about. Why did I buy a electrical car is for the first and most important thing, it made a lot of business sense. Okay, as an entrepreneur in the society we live in, we talk about just flash, how I have fancy cars, drop top, all this stuff, and we don't really talk about what it really takes to be successful, which is to sacrifice, to wait for gratification. Just like a seed, when you get a seed, you can't just put it in your mouth right now. When you get a seed, you got to dig it, plow it down, maintain it, water it, give it food, and maybe in a year or two, it'll give you some apples or pears, or it'll give you some kind of fruit. So we have to understand that the nature law, the natural law, is delay gratification. So I bought a Nissan Leaf, an electrical car, and I just want to show you just in 7 weeks of ownership. I've only owned it for 7 weeks, guys. Okay, how much money I have saved. So, before I have a smart car. What is it? For two that I've wrapped. I have many different kind of cars, but over my time, this Leaf blows it away because the amount of money I'm getting to save, guys. Okay, and now here's what I'm doing with the money, which is amazing. Okay, all right. So in 7 weeks, before I used to drive two cars. I would drive my small that my girl drive. So total it up, it would go $120 a week. Okay, but I just kept it on the low side just for one vehicle. Okay, an average, let's say, which is on the low side. In reality, it'll probably be like 120 to $150 because as a real estate investor, we drive around. As a business owner, I drive around everywhere. Okay, and I love driving. Okay, so I just came on the lower side. I said, $90 a week for gas times 7 weeks of ownership. Okay, I've already saved $630, and this is not a year, just in almost 2 months of ownership. Okay, pretty darn good. Okay, now if you have a different kind of car that's not a super car, then you're probably not consuming as much. And if you don't have a business, you just drive from your home to work, then you may not drive as much as an entrepreneur or real estate investor does. Okay, or a realtor does. All right, so I'm saving significant amount of money. So it's like a monthly cash flow. Before I was paying this money to the oil companies for them to, this to $720 for every 2 months. I'll save 720 bucks savings. All right. So it's giving me money. Now, instead of giving me money and I put this money into my pocket and going out to eat, right? Or going out to dinners, movies, drinking, all that stuff. As an entrepreneur, as a true entrepreneur, I understand how the seed works, and I have to sacrifice, I have to give it care, I have to before the time is right. Okay, so instead of I'm taking this money and I'm being smart with it, I'm not just okay, and putting into my savings account where we have inflation like crazy, right? Uh, I am invested into cryptos. And the way I look at it is, dude, this is the money I was giving to the oil companies. This money was already going out of my pocket, right? Now that I have an EV car, right, this is giving me money. The same thing I have to go every week when I drive by and I don't have to drive by a gas station. I think, well, I had to pay this gas station. And it was true. I was paying that. My sister's paying it. My brother's paying it. My cousin's paying it. Everyone's every week paying it besides me. I'm out of the metrics, okay? So now the EV car is paying me, all right? So the money I am putting in the cryptos. Now, if I lost all this money, so it went all down to zero, okay? Guess what? I was already going to zero every time I paid them, right? Now, what I'm saying is by me getting this EV car, I have one chance to hit this. Now, I could strike out. This thing could go to zero, but at least I have an opportunity to hit it, to hit a home run, or hit a three baser, two baser. At least I'm in the game to be able to come up. Some of us not even in the game. We're just sitting here like, well, I don't have no money to invest. I can't do anything. Well, I don't. We're just like throwing our hands up. Okay, I got to be a slave. I got to be a rat race. But there's small things you can do to change your life. Okay, and America is a great country because I bought this car for $11,000 cash. It was worth $15K. Okay, and I had them pay my tax and title, everything. But that's a cheap price for it to pay me. Okay. Now, some of you guys say, well, hey, Mike, man, you got to put up the initial capital. Well, if you need a car, then you need to get that. I had a baby. I needed to get a car. I couldn't put my baby into, my SL convertible, right? It's a two-seater, super car. She wouldn't fit in there, so I needed a car, right? I could have bought so many different cars, okay? Now, some of you guys say, well, Mike, why didn't you buy the Tesla versus the Nissan Leaf, okay? The very first thing is that I love Tesla and I love Elon Musk. He's a true entrepreneur. But I didn't want to buy a $100,000 car, okay, and have all the bugs that it has and be the guy that has to debug it. If you guys ever been in software or developed software like I have, there's always software problems, and I didn't want to be the guy that spent that kind of money and have all these hardware and software problems where like the doors don't open correctly and the trim is not perfect, because when I spend that kind of money, I'm expecting it to be that kind of level of quality, and it just isn't, because it's a new company, but I love it, and eventually it will be, and eventually I will own a Tesla. But at this stage in my life where I've given away everything that I own, and when I went and became homeless, now to come back and go from homeless to my next level of my dreams, right? Well, I have to sacrifice, right? I have to make smart moves. And one of the smart moves was buying an EV car where I didn't have to spend this kind of money when I drive to go look at properties, or when I go to meetings, or when I go out to eat, or to the park, whatever. I'm saving this money. And then not only am I saving, I'm investing it, right, into cryptos. Or I can invest it into the money. I can invest this money right back into marketing for my business, okay? There's many different things I can do. I could buy stocks with it, but I could put it in my savings. But I wouldn't do that, okay? I would have the money work for me instead of me just spinning it out, okay? So why did I buy an electric car? Because it was the best move for me to save a lot of money, care about nature, and then be on the cutting edge of technology. Okay, I can't explain to you. It's kind of like if you guys have a Windows operating system. If you ever switch over from Windows to Apple, then you know like, wow, that thing was so buggy. It has so many problems with Windows. Okay, it's the same thing. Now that I bought an electrical car, I will never go back to a gas combustion car ever. Even when I drive my Mercedes top of the line SL, right, fully loaded, everything you can imagine, beautiful car, right? I like my electric car way better. Okay, so much better. Right? It doesn't have all the luxuries as that one has, but I still love this one because it's quiet, saves me a lot of money. You know, in this equation, I didn't even include oil changes because I already put thousands of miles on this car. I drive it like crazy, you know what I mean? And it's been like 7 weeks of ownership. I've driven the shit out of it. I've already put, I don't know, like 3,000 miles on it, if not more, okay? And in just 7 weeks. So I drive a lot. I love to drive, and that doesn't even include the oil changes because in this car, electric car, I don't have to do oil changes. I don't have to do all the maintenance. I don't have to do all the brake job repair because having an electrical car, it has what's called, I think it's called degenerating braking, which means when I let go of my brake, it stops. It's kind of like an ATV. If you guys ever had an ATV, and then you let go of the electricity, the power, it goes, it starts slowing down by itself, especially if you have a nicer ATV. It's kind of like the same thing, but instead of being, when that happens, there's a lot of heat produced by your legs. But in this car, the heat is absorbed into electrical fuel for the car, which is pretty cool. Okay, so it eliminates all the repairs that's required for getting your brakes on. So I imagine if I had to change my brakes on a normal car in 3 times, in this one I might only have to change it 1 time, guys. And so maintenance is awesome. It's been very reliable so far. When I bought it, it had very low miles on it. It had like 26,000 or something. I got it for 11K. I'm very happy. And the other reason I didn't buy a Tesla is because I wanted to test drive an EV car before I committed to something really big and see this is something that I want. Now that I bought it, I'm confident that the next purchase I'm going to buy is going to be a luxury EV car without a doubt. I'm never going to go back to combustion. It's just crazy to spend money on gas when you can drive around in a nice looking car. Even the Nissan Leaf is excellent, dude. Another reason I bought a Nissan Leaf is because when we came to America as refugees, my parents bought a Nissan. And since then, we're always owned Nissans, guys, and they've been very reliable car. So if Nissan's ever watching, thank you so much for making reliable cars that doesn't suck up all of our money. I really appreciate you guys. For you guys watching, thank you so much. If you like this video, please press the like button. Leave a comment. Let me know if you have an EV car, if you're thinking about it, get an EV car. What's your thoughts on an EV car? And some of you guys are going to ask me, well, Mike, how much did you pay for electricity? Because I hear that all the time. In the 7 weeks of ownership, I have paid zero. I've been getting free electricity around the areas, guys. Like when I go to Whole Foods to buy food, grocery, there's electricity there. Hotels, they have these electricity there. Where I park, I get free electricity. So, where I live. So, in a sense, I haven't paid $1, zero in electricity for this car. I've been driving around thousands of miles for free, and I'm saving it thousands of miles, and it's been awesome. But from what I researched on the forums, people that own these EV cars, they say, roughly about 100, like 60 to 150 bucks a month is what the range is for electricity if they have an EV car, depending what state they're in, because different states have different regulations and so on, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Don't take no for an answer. Hustle and bustle.